In this video, I'm going to show you how to get the Dragonbolt or Florissax, which is essentially an incantation that bolsters you and your allies nearby, as well as a special ancient dragon Florissax summon that you can use as a spirit. Now this is all through the means of using Thiollier's Concoction. However, if you do use his Concoction, you do miss out on a very important item which lets you turn into a dragon form. If you instead look for that, check the comments down below. If you have that already and you're trying to get something new, then watch this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Thiollier's Concoction. Now, if you want to know how to get it, you can also follow this video. So we're going to make our way to our first site of grace, the main gate cross, which is accessible right over here. Once you get here, you will speak to a character called Moore. You'll then proceed to purchase any item. So just go by like maybe the note that he has there, any item. And when you go ahead and do that, you'll see there's a talk to Moore option that appears. He'll tell you he likes finding things that brings joy to people, which is just what we need. You're then going to make your way to the Pillar Path Cross Site of Grace, which is accessible from the Castle Front Site of Grace. You just go ahead and you follow along the road down here, and you just take this off split of the pathway down here, and you should find Thiollier sitting right over here. Just go ahead and talk to him once just to introduce yourself. Once you've introduced yourself and you've finished talking with him, you can head back to Moore at the main gate cross Site of Grace. Now, when you go ahead and you speak to Moore, you will see that he has the option to talk to Moore, and he's going to give you an item that you can give to Thiollier. And this is going to be black syrup. So now that you have the black syrup, you just quite simply have to return to the Pillar Path Cross Site of Grace, and then go ahead and speak with Thiollier. You'll see he has the option to give black syrup. Go ahead and do this. Ask him about the black syrup, and then tell him you are weary of life. He will then give you Thiollier's Concoction, which is like a really sleep-based eternal sleep poison from the sounds of it. Now, you've probably been wondering, where do you use this thing? In this video, I'm going to answer that question. But first, we're going to go ahead and go up the road like this and continue down right to the Site of Grace here. You'll see once you get near the Site of Grace, there will be a person who starts screaming, "Oh, oh, oh." From the Site of Grace over here, you can actually see them on the road here to the west. This is a character called Egon. We're going to go ahead and speak with him in a bit. When you go ahead and you talk to him, he's going to talk about Bale, a terror upon this land. Now, this concoction vaguely has something to do with his quest line as well, so we're going to go ahead and continue along with it. So from where he is right here, we're going to go down this road over here, where we will get invaded by somebody at this location. You will see that you'll get invaded by the Ancient Dragon Man. This is an NPC that you will have to defeat. Once you've defeated him, you're going to head on south, keep following the pathway that you were initially on, and you will see there is a dungeon at the end over here, which is called the Dragon's Pit. For reference, this is at this location right over here on the map if you are struggling. And inside here from the Site of Grace, you can go ahead and follow along with me. We're going to jump through this hole over here in the wall, and as soon as we land down at the bottom, we're going to go through this pathway directly behind this NPC with the fire to the south, and you'll see there is a giant pit that we can go ahead and jump into. This is not going to kill you. This is instead going to take you to the final boss of this dungeon. Now, when you get down here, you will have to defeat the boss in this room. Once you do kill him, you're not going to leave the dungeon through the teleporter. You're instead going to open up the door. This will lead you to a Site of Grace right over here. And this is the Dragon's Pit Terminus Site of Grace. Now, from this location, you're essentially going to keep heading outwards like this to the east. You will see there is a dragon in this area over here. We're going to go ahead and proceed south from the dragon and go along to this location right over here. I'm going to go ahead and quickly speed this up for you. See, there's the dragon. We're going to go to the south. And you'll see up ahead the location that we're heading to. This is the Grand Altar of Dragon Communion. This is located right over here for your reference. There will be a Dragon Communion Lady NPC that you can go ahead and speak to. and then you'll be given the option to devour Draconic Essence. This is something that you should do. You will then get the Ancient Dragon's Blessing. We're now going to go ahead and proceed back to the north where that dragon was originally, but we're going to keep going north along this pathway over here, as you can tell, to a Site of Grace over here where we will be fighting 2 dragons where you have to defeat both of these. We're just going to go past the dragon and to the north. This is the foot of the Jagged Peak Site of Grace, and you'll see as we go around this corner, there will be 2 dragons that we will need to fight for combat. To give a look at them, you can see there they are over there, and we'll just need to go ahead and defeat them. Once you have defeated them, you will hear Egon laughing off in the distance at this location right over here towards your east. You'll then go ahead and speak to Egon. He will then give you his furled finger, which you can use to summon within the boss fight chamber that you're going to be heading to. Now we're going to go ahead and head back to the Dragon Communion altar to tell the Dragon Lady of Egon. So go ahead and speak to her once you get here. You'll have the option to ask about Egon, and then you're going to go ahead and rest at a Site of Grace. And then you're going to use the pastime option in order to set to nightfall. And then you're going to set it to morning, and then you're going to set it to nightfall again. Now we can go ahead and get up, and she should presumably be asleep over here, standing like in a sleep pose, I guess. You'll see that she is muttering to herself. Then you'll eventually get the option to talk to her. Just a warning again, if you do give her this concoction, you will not be able to get her dragon form item or the weapon that she drops by doing the other quest line linked in the description. And you'll see you can use Thiollier's concoction on her, just like this, while she's sleeping. Just pour it into her mouth. That's not weird at all. And now we're going to go ahead and wake her up by going to the Site of Grace. Go to pastime, do until morning, and then until nightfall, and then until morning again. And then go ahead and stand up, and you should see that she is now awake. And she'll tell you that she has broken her pledge. She has succumbed to the deep slumber. If she says these things, you are good to go and fight Baal. So yeah, this is the hardest part of this whole thing. So now you're going to make your way back to Egon's location from the foot of the Jagged Peak location where you were previously, and we're going to continue along this way. You can go ahead and follow me as I lead you to where the Baal fight is. You'll see this will be the Jagged Peak Mountainside Site of Grace. And then we can go ahead and head southwest, up the hill with the dead bodies. You're going to take the wind vent all the way to the top. And then around this corner, go up to the left, stick to the wall on the left, and stay along this pathway up here. You'll see there's another spring that you can use. And then on the left over here, you can keep going up. And then finally, another spring that you can use. And this will bring you before the boss chamber right over there, with a Site of Grace right here. This is located at the Jagged Peak summit. Now all you gotta do is go ahead and defeat Baal. After you defeat Baal, you can return to where Egon's body was over here to get his armor set quickly. You'll see here by his body there is a item to pick up, and this is going to give you his great bow, his helmet, basically his armor set, as well as his bell bearing, where you can buy the arrows from the Twin Maiden husks at your round table hold, so that you can use his great bow. And then we're going to go ahead and return to the Dragon Altar of Dragon Communion, and we can go ahead and speak to the Dragon Lady. She will then give you the Dragonbolt of Florissax, which is an incantation, and then you can go ahead and confess to putting her to sleep. Keep talking to her and you'll get the option to take her with you. You'll then get the Ancient Dragon Florissax, which is the spirit summon for her, essentially, to now use. So if that's something you want, or at least on a New Game Plus, that is something you can get as well. I've also linked that guide in the description down below. You can only get one or the other.